Welcome to the JAMODI podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. What's one quality you see in leaders that coaches and players need to cultivate in their own habits and actions?
Making others better. Almost always we are too worried about our own tree, not the other trees in the forest. We're too often only worried about, now I just talked about making, getting better as an athlete, but too oftentimes we're too worried about our own self. We're too worried about where we're at in life. We're too worried about our playing time. As a coach, I'm too worried about who's right and who's wrong. Well, we lost that. They lost that game. They lost that game, or it was their fault. Matt had that turnover at the end of the game. It was his fault. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. We're all responsible for moving this team forward. We're all responsible for trying to find solutions and be solution focused as opposed to problem fixated. And too many, whether you're a leader, and I would put players in this. I think players are leaders. I think everybody is a leader because everybody can influence somebody to move forward toward their goal. And so, or toward a goal. And so I think too oftentimes, if we focus on making others better, we're going to eventually get better as well. Everything's going to be better, but we're constantly going back to the parent thing. Well, how can my kid get more playing time? How can my kid get more playing time? And it's all about my kid. And if my kid's, hurt and not playing, I don't even go to the game.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's about my kid. Okay, well, that's kind of selfish, and we all need each other. Your $100,000 car that's sitting in your garage, Matt. That little car, that $5 spark plug, can ruin and sideline that $100,000 car.
Man.
The best sports car in the world is not going anywhere if that $5 spark plug doesn't work. And you know what? Without that fancy sports car, or without any car at all, that $5 spark plug has no existence. It has no reason for being either. They need each other. And so we spend way too much time worried about ourselves and not worried about others.
And that's that one quality that it really carried through.
Making others better. And you can go unselfishness, thinking about others. C.S. Lewis, the great writer who did the Chronicles of Narnia, he talked about humility. Yeah. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's not saying, it's not, I'm terrible, woe is me, I'm no good. It's not thinking less of yourself. It's just thinking of yourself less. I'm not going to think of myself all the time. I'm going to think of others. I'm going to go out and pick up trash in the community. Yeah. Because I'm going to make this community better. I'd rather be sitting watching Netflix, but I'm going to go do that, or I'm going to go do some other community service, or I'm going to take donuts to the janitors.
I think that reminder that it's not about me. I mean, each of us every day remembering it's whatever we're doing, it's not about me, because I've tended to take things personally over the years, like I think most coaches do. You talk about the high school or the transfer portal in colleges. It's in high school as well. And when I lose a player, I just look inside like, how could they? But then I got to remember, it's not about me. And my only job here is to help that kid get better. Hopefully I did everything that I could so I have no regret when they make that decision and that choice. And if I can get to that, I'm not telling you that I'm there. If I can get to that point, then that's freeing too.
Yeah, very few of us are at that point. I'm certainly not at that point. Going back to when my wife and I have quote unquote discussions, which once again is my fault. I'm sure it is. But when we have discussions, I don't want to apologize, and I don't want to say I'm wrong, and I don't want to listen to her side of the story. I want what I want. I want to be right. So we all have this in us, this nature in us to a degree, to self-preservate, to self-preserve. self-preservation to make ourselves look good.
Yeah.
And sometimes, hey, we might want to blow out someone's candle to make our light shine.
I like that.
Sometimes, if somebody leaves our program, we want to blame them or say they're not tough or whatever. And all that might be true. But you know what? That's not your concern anymore. Your concern is those other people on your team, the people that are staying with you. How can I help now make them better? And also, how can I make myself better? Not, and there's a line. I said, don't worry about yourself so much, but you've got to make yourself better and develop and grow and improve and be coachable so you can make others better. You can't make others better if you stink. If you're a jerk, you're not going to be spreading a whole lot of love. If you have a lot of hate in your heart,
Yeah.
if you're really, really selfish, then you're not going to be spreading a lot of love and joy out there in the world. So you do have to improve yourself and grow in order to make others better.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.